What's going on, people? It's your boy Tots back again and making his debut on the show. The new show, Central Stage, is my boy Views on Sport, making his debut on the show. How you doing, my brother? You good?
Don DeMarco, I'm good, bro.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. You know what I mean? Big up everyone. Playback gang, hit the like, subscribe. I'm happy to be here, man. Just listening to the song kind of remind me of my old school channel. You ding, ding, ding. You get me? So I was kind of groovy. I'm happy to be here, man. What are you telling me? You good?
Yeah, I'm all good, bro. I'm glad you're on the show. I'm glad we can chat football, chat about obviously your upbringing of being an Arsenal fan, man. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys support Views on Sport. His video is in the title, in the chat, and in the description as well. So you man have got no excuses to hit that subscribe button on Views. Get him on his way as well. So yeah, we love to see the people in the community get bigger and bigger in it. So yeah, Views, man. Let's get straight to it. I want to know from your perspective, what made you become an Arsenal fan? What was it that drew you to Arsenal? Was it a particular person? Was it a family member? Was it a location? What kind of introduced you to the fact of being an Arsenal fan, my brother?
Oh man, it's my old man. May he rest in peace. My dad, may he rest in peace, man. Like ever since I was born, I was looking back on pictures. I'm in Arsenal kits. Obviously, I don't remember nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My dad was a massive Arsenal fan, and yeah, it was him, man. So ever since I was young, going on about football, I didn't really like football till I was about 9, 10, to be fair. Like it was just something, yeah, I support Arsenal, but I weren't like, I was young, you know, you don't really kind of take it in.
Yeah.
And then I started playing it. And where I was in Queen's Crescent, like I was with Joe Cole, Lee Scott, Josh Scott, rest in peace, Lee Scott as well. Barnet striker just died not long ago as well. Rest in peace him. So yeah, so we was playing football, and I don't know, I just started loving the game, and then obviously I kind of got onto my dad a little bit more. You know, I want to go to a game, and I think he took me to a game, and it's like it's blurry. We lost 2-1 to United at Highbury. I can't even remember who scored. It was blurry. I think I was like just 10 or something like that. But in my own right, like I said, you know, because my dad was always the kind of beacon for Arsenal, but what made me kind of love Arsenal in my own right was obviously it was 97. I always say 94, but like I said, I get hazy, but it was 97.
Yeah.
I was at Highbury, and it was we beat Bolton 4-1, and it was that guy Ian Wright. He broke his record, knee slide, knee slide, top over the head. You know what I mean? Like it was crazy settings. You know what I mean? And obviously, pause. Like that was the first guy I fell in love with. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, who is this guy, bro? Do you get me? Like when I'm seeing him in the flesh, obviously I know who he is, but when you see him in the flesh and he's breaking a record and the place is going wild, and I'm seeing David Seaman live in the flesh and just all of that, it's just like, yeah, like when I was old enough to really kind of take it in for myself. And then it wouldn't really matter what my dad said after that. You know, I was Arsenal. That was it. It was that day, September 97. That was it. You know, confirmed in my own right. I was Arsenal through and through, man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice, man. So from that, obviously that game, that 4-1 game, was Ian Wright, would you say, was that the guy that you kind of focused on from then on? Was he the guy that was like your favorite player, or was it a thing where you kind of just was kind of getting introduced to the Arsenal team, and then after that you started to like appreciate other players as well, bro?
Yeah, do you know what it was? Obviously, I saw glimpses and stuff like that, and you know what it's like when you're young. I was too busy watching cartoons and other kind of stuff, and my dad would be like, you know, watch some of the other stuff, you know, watch some of the George Graham stuff, but yeah, it was kind of Ian Wright. He had a gold tooth. Do you know what I mean? I could relate. Obviously, I'm mixed race, like I could relate to him. You know what I mean? And not just that, but like when you're in the playground and everyone's like Ian Wright, like that was the guy. It was we had the same thing with Thierry Henry. Like we'll get to that, but you know, that was it. It was Ian Wright. You know, he was obviously a big goal scorer at the time. I used to really like Dennis Bergkamp as well. You know, once I started appreciating the skill of football, do you know what I mean? Not just like, you know, oh, this guy scores goals, we all know him. You know, once I started playing the game and realizing what kind of a player I was, even, you know, I look at someone like Dennis Bergkamp and, you know what I mean? It was just, yeah, crazy. But yeah, no, to answer your question, yeah, it's Ian Wright, like the talisman, the first guy I fell in love with, like I said, without sounding funny, you know what I mean? and that was it. Yeah, it was Ian Wright, it was Arsenal, that's who everyone was, you know what I mean, when they called out names in the playground, and yeah, that was it. But my dad obviously did make me watch, like, you know, 89 and stuff like that, and Mickey Thomas, and think, you know what I'm saying, to kind of get a little bit of the history. But to be fair, the ground just did it for me as well. It was one of those old school grounds at Highbury, you know what I mean? Like mixed in with you know, within the houses and stuff like that. When I first went there, it was like what is this? I didn't even
Mm.
expect to be a pitch there. Do you know what I mean? It was just crazy, just crazy. And the atmosphere, as much as people called Highbury the library, like the atmosphere was 10 times better than it was at the Emirates. I gotta be honest. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? Yeah, man, good days, man, good days. And they were like you know, good days for someone to come into Arsenal as well, because good things were happening. Do you know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
like coming to the, you know, I think no, 97, that was like Arsene Wenger's era. So
Mm.
I understand, like, good things were happening, bro. So what a time to become an Arsenal fan, look, in your own right, you know.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. I mean, obviously, I was a bit later as well. I was like 2001. So, like,
Okay.
it's kind of ironic. Both of our, obviously, debut seasons of supporting the season, supporting Arsenal, sorry. The next year, we both won the double. Obviously, you on 98, on
98.
2002. So,
Yeah.
yeah, man, it was a good era, man. Thinking about it now, bro, like, some of the players that we had in the football that we played, like, the era that we actually got into supporting Arsenal was, like, top tier for sure, man. So, obviously, you've now obviously supported Arsenal. You're getting into it. You didn't like football, but now you're liking football. What was that 98 season the first time you probably followed it like fully in terms of like a full
Yeah.
season? And what was your
Yeah.
thoughts on the season as a
Yeah.
whole, bro?
Just amazing. I mean, obviously, we was just watching. I mean, I don't know if you did. I mean, I put myself through it. We just watched the Europa League Cup final, and
Yeah.
I'm seeing kids in there crying. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's how it was. I was crying, but it weren't tears of sadness. Do you know what I'm saying? Imagine, like, you know, your dad's been going on about it. You're like, kind of. I'm not really. Blah blah blah. Then you get into it, and you see a couple of games in the flesh, and you're fully in. And then, obviously, like you said, the next season, like, it's just euphoria. It's just like, these are the things that are always going to stick with you. Do you know what I mean? No matter what, even though it was all the way back then compared to where we are now. Um, you know, just like when some people say 94 with Palmer and the Cup Winners' Cup, you know, I was old enough to remember it, but I wasn't, kind of like you said, 98, that season there. Yeah, I was like following every week. Do you know what I mean? Tuning in for the games, like trying to go to as many games as I could. Red member, all of that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, that was that. And yeah, 98. I mean, like I said, unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Like you said, what a time to join Arsenal. And that was kind of like through that period, like 97, 98. I was like, what year? Year 10, year 11,
Okay.
like, no, year 10. No, when I left school in 99, I believe. Yeah, so like, so my school was good, bro.
Yeah.
My school was good,
You're
like, because
eating,
if
man.
you're
You're
from
eating.
London, we had a lot of people that supported Man United. We had a lot
Mm.
of people that supported Liverpool. Do you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And it's like, we was representing for London, bro. And you know, we had a good team. We was playing good ball. We was winning something, and that's all that matters. That's what you remember at the end of the day. So yeah, you're right. That was the first, you know, real time that I was following, and I kind of remember winning and in my own right. Do you know what I mean?
Mm. Nah, I 100% agree with you, man. I mean, for me as well, like obviously going back to 2002, like I was loving life, man. Especially as
Mm.
obviously as a kid in school, bro. Because you've just got the best players, you've got the best team, you're winning trophies, you're winning majors, you're
Mm.
seeing your team lift trophy after trophy. So, bro, you're just buzzing to be obviously supporting the club because you're obviously attached to the success, and that's probably what plays into how we feel now at the minute,
Yeah.
where we're seeing a team that's not doing that. We're seeing a team that's not lifting up trophies, not getting to finals, etc., etc. So that's why there's a massive urgency for me and you to try and get that club back to that standards where we used to obviously lifting trophies, man, lifting silverware, getting to finals, so we can have that kind of joy again. Because, bro,
Yeah.
everyone likes to see their team win, man. There's no one here that want to see their team not do well. So for me, it always comes from a good place, in my opinion, that we just
Mm.
want the club and the team to succeed. You know what I mean? So yeah, boom. So that's actually interesting, man. You've seen the double, you're gassed, all that kind of stuff. What's your actual thoughts on Wenger, actually? Because obviously, again, you've been introduced to him probably like when everyone else is 97.
Yeah.
So, what was your
Yeah.
thoughts on him beforehand? Did you rate him? Did you like what he was doing? What do you think, bro?
Obviously, you know, like I said, I was just kind of getting into Arsenal in my own right. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Looking around the Premier League,
Mm.
you know, looking at other teams, seeing why why other fans support that team, you know, appreciating that other teams had star players, because you know what it was like back in the day in the Premier League. There was someone good at every team almost.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? No matter what. And obviously the state of football was different then. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Um, but yeah. So 97, 98. Like I said, man, just as we kept going thinking about Wenger when he come in, I didn't know too much about him. He come in, everyone was shocked. That's what my dad was saying. We got this guy from Japan, and I'm like, what? Like, is that going to be any good? And my dad was like, we don't know what to expect. And do you know what I mean? Like within, I don't know, like within, I don't know, the first year, like he come and kind of change the culture of England, let alone Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? People like Tony Adams we had at the club, you know, there was a big drinking culture, and the football was different. Football was different. You know, you'd play your game, you'd go down the pub, it was this, it was that. It was a different time. And when it came in, he changed the diets, he stopped all the drinking, all that kind of stuff, and just instilled. It's like if people thought George Graham was good, like because George Graham, it was 1-0 to the Arsenal, and everyone thought that we was boring. We weren't that boring, but everyone thought it was because we was defensively sound. If you thought that was good, then you got the complete opposite with Arsene Wenger, because it was all about kind of, you know what I mean? He wanted he had the great defense, so he could focus on the attack. I think that's what helped him in his early years, and he just came and revolutionized the game. And for someone like him to come in as a nobody, and then within a year, 2 years, like you're the main rival for Sir Alex Ferguson. You know what I mean? That was like, I'm like, who is this guy? I couldn't believe I'm like, I was saying to my dad, has it ever been like this? And he was just like, we've had good, you know, George Graham. He was still saying George Graham, George Graham, George Graham. But obviously, you know, for me, George Graham was his best manager. That was his era. People like Rioch and other people before then, people that I don't even know about. Do you know what I mean? But Wenger, that was all us. That was all, do you know what I mean? Our generation. Like that's kind of like all we knew. And I was fully, like I was probably the toppest of gooners then. Do you know what I'm saying? There's nothing this guy could say that I would be disagreeing with. And but not only that, but he was showing and proving. You saw the football, bro. Wenger ball. Like the first 10 years of Wenger, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? Like unbelievable time in football. Unbelievable time in football. Like like I said, changed the game. He definitely made a top gooner out of me. You know, the teams that he was building. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely, bro. There's nothing he couldn't say that I was like, yeah, no, I disagree with that for a long time. You know what I mean? And then obviously it switched, but I'm sure we'll get into that. But yeah, no, Wenger revolutionized the game. And even though I was Wenger out in the end, you know, he does deserve the statue, sort of thing.
Yeah, 100%, man. I've got to obviously completely agree. During that period of time, man, Wenger was untouchable, man. People were saying that they loved him like their dad. Like he was the guy. He was the GOAT. He was the guy that's seen, you know, league titles, doubles, invincible. So, bro, Champions League final even. So you're like, all of our best memories are coming onto this guy, especially if you've just supported the club when obviously he was about. So yeah, man, during that time, bro, that first 8 to 10 years, like you were saying, bro, Wenger, bro, he was just winning trophy after trophy, getting to finals and doing these things. That's why it's a shame how it's obviously turned out in the end, because if you would have just kept up that kind of level of legacy, then bro, no one would have a bad word to say about you. Do you know what I mean? Because you would have just sustained a successful period of just winning trophies and just having that high level of standard. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I gotta agree with you, bro. Like Wenger at the time was obviously coming from Japan, and you're thinking, oh my god, who's this guy? Can he actually impact the league? And to come in and like again go against one of the, if not the greatest manager of all time, go toe to toe, bar for bar, and beat him to these successful like league titles and obviously doubles and stuff. It took a special kind of individual coach to actually get that out of the players at the time, man. So yeah, I completely agree with you, man. But big up everyone in the obviously in the community, in the chat. Make sure you guys subscribe to Views. Obviously, his channel is in the title, in the description, and in the chat as well, pinned at the top. So make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Just gonna get through the chat a little bit quickly. Big up Entertainment More, yes, Tops. Big up the panel, big up Entertainment More. Smash the likes, of course, man. Big up TC Gaming, new guest. I rate it. Big yourself up, brother. Make sure you subscribe to him. Love to the panel. Big yourself up, bro. Big up Saka says hello. Big up Kurt, my brother. What you telling me, bro? Hello. Big up Tops and Views. Big up yourself, my guy. Hope you're good. Hope you are well. Napoli could win the league tonight. Yeah, obviously the last game of Serie A is tonight. Winner obviously gets Serie A. Also versus Barcelona Women's Champions League final tomorrow. Big game for them for sure. Massive game for them for sure. Short answer: Tottenham have had a better season from 20 years. What will we say looking back at as fans? Either Arsenal or Spurs. We beat City, Real Madrid, or we won a European Cup in Bilbao. Listen, I can't even disagree with that, to be honest with you, man. Like,
It's
even
different.
that next year, do you know what I mean? I ain't gonna. Did you see these like 3 seasons? I'm not gonna remember these 3 seasons. We finished second 3 times in a row, bro. No silverware. I ain't gonna care. I'll be real. Like, it's like whatever. Do you know what I mean? Even the season that you remember, like, oh, the season that you lift up silverware, even if you've had a bad season, that's just the honest truth of it. I mean, what do you think about that views, bro?
Yeah, no, I'm fully with you, bro. Like, no one remembers where you finish if you don't lift anything, bro. You remember winning, and like I said, you know, especially in that era, end of George Graham coming into Wenger, that's what we did. We won. We was challenging in the Champions League. Obviously, yeah, we got to one final, but we was doing this from a 38,000 seater stadium. Do you know what I mean? We were challenging arguably the best team in Premier League history in terms of Man United, the best manager in history. Do you know what I'm saying? We were finding stars, and you know, Wenger came and revolutionized everything with the money, with the way we played, with how we, you know what I'm saying? Like we was doing bits. So that's what you remember. Do you know what I mean? You remember winning. You know what I mean? Invincible. Who's ever gonna forget that? You know what I mean? Even what was it? I can't even remember the year. I think one of the cup double years we done, we was like finished 12th or something. Like, who remembers that?
Yeah,
Who
yeah,
cares?
93, I think it was. Yeah.
You know what
No
I'm
one
saying?
even
Like, who
mentions it.
cares? Who cares? You it's winning. It's winning. You know what I mean? When we lost, was it 2-1 to Birmingham? Bro, when I walked out of that stadium at Wembley, bro, like, bro, I'm vexed. Like it's different levels, bro. Winning is winning, and you try and take anything away from Spurs now. Half of these Spurs fans, yeah, and it's not like they shouldn't be saying this, but they were calling for Ange out after 21 losses in the league. It's hard to argue with that. Do you understand? Go and ask them how they feel now. You know what I mean? Yeah.
100%.
Ange Washington, you know, I'm leaving with something. You know what I mean? In the second year, bro. Bro, how bad is that as well? How bad is that? You know, for him to say that and then follow through, bro. Like,
you gotta pay respect to it. To be fair,
that
I
is
even know I like
crazy
Spurs.
work. And there's nothing, yeah, and there's nothing like winning. So you know, to go back to that comment, absolutely right. They've had a better season. And listen, even Deji, I was on very briefly with Northside before I had to go. Deji came on and he asked me, like, would I change with them because they've won? And I said, yeah, I would. But it's not like to say 100 times this season. I haven't heard him say, and I said it to him, you know, you'd swap positions with us because they're down there and they're seeing us second and in Champions League and all the rest of it. So one win, bro, and it can turn everything around. That's the magic of winning. So you're absolutely right. For me, league position, what does it mean? We've got second 3 times. We've done a 3-peat. Like, it's not the right 3-peat though, is it? It's not. It's not the one. It's not the one that's going to go in the record book. So yeah, you know, to answer the question, winning is always more important than your league position for me.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, man. Like, you can't argue like when a team wins a trophy, you've not won one. You've just got to say fair play. You've been more successful than we have, even if we've finished second or third in the league. Because in the grand scheme of things, like you said, people are based in if you're a big club or not, if how many trophies you win, not the league positions you finished in your history. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it does make sense, man. It does make sense. Obviously, going on to obviously Wenger or whatever, you go into obviously the doubles and then the invincibles. Like, what's your feeling? Like, obviously, I'm guessing you've left school at this point. Like, what's your feeling when we actually did the invincible kind of achievement, man? What did you think at the time? Did you think you appreciated it enough, or has it got better over time, considering obviously how long it's been?
Yeah, it's got better over time. In the moment, obviously, you're watching every week. You're praying. You know what I mean? Like that, you can. The more that it gets spoken about, you're kind of hoping that you can get across the line, and we did. And obviously, it went into next season, and it was our main rivals, United. That, you know, I think we got to what, 49. Do you know what I'm saying? And then they're the ones who knocked us out the stupor. Like, you know, crazy work. But yeah, at the moment, in the time, you're in it. But like I said, you look back on it, and it's always better to look back on. For me, like, it made it more special. However, we are getting to the point now where you can't no longer come back with ours is gold, because I was like 20, 21 at that time. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I've got kids and all that. That's nearly that age now. Do you see what I'm saying to you, bro? Like, it's a whole different Arsenal. So yeah. So, you know, to look back on it, you're right. I think with time, you know, you can look back on some of the things that we've done. 14 FA Cups, doubles, invincible. You can look back on it, but like I said, there does come a time where you can't really come back with it now. Do you know? I feel like we're at that time, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, nah, for sure, man. I gotta agree, man. Like, even though it's obviously a great achievement, we've not won the league since. So that I think is kind of like making it a fact where we need to try and do something else, man. We can't keep going back to it for sure. But I was going to ask you as well, like in terms of Wenger, when did you start losing faith in him? Which kind of period? Because obviously I was on Shane's channel earlier, and he was saying that obviously he was kind of Wenger until literally the end, which I was pretty surprised about, considering obviously how he doesn't rate Arteta. But where were you like kind of losing faith? Obviously, you've got like the 2008 period when we had like Adebayor, and then we started selling our best players, and then you got further on when we didn't win a trophy, and then you've got that Alexis Sanchez Ozil kind of period. Like, where were you in terms of like when you wanted to obviously see Wenger leave the club, if you ever did?
I remember the year. I remember the year, it was 2008. So obviously it was like after a couple years after the final. See, what was Invincibles 2004, I believe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like we got to the final, and then it's like after that, like the team is getting broken up. I'm seeing the best players leave, bro. I'm seeing Audrey. I'm seeing everyone just going, bro. You know, like this Invincible team, and just quickly to caveat on what you're saying about Shane, you know, it don't even surprise me. Obviously, it hit me a little bit. I don't know, maybe because I'm a little bit younger by a few years. I'm not sure, but it don't surprise me because, as you said, people were loving Wenger like family, bro, at one point. You know, there's nothing you could have said, even to me, but got to about 2008, man, it's just like, you know, my dad gave up, we gave up the ticket, you know what I mean? It's just like, we don't believe in what's going on no more. Like, obviously we moved, we're meant to be, this is what they told us. You know, I've heard other stuff that people try and throw at me, like, oh, the club would have gone bankrupt if we stayed at Highbury and stuff like that. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no way, bro. There's no way, bro. There's no way. Obviously, you want to make more money, you want to compete. I was in that group of people that was told, like, you know, this is what we're going here for. Oh, you're looking at Real, you're looking at Bayern, we're going to compete. You know, we need this stadium, we need more money. Once we get this money, we're going to continue to do all of these feats that you've just seen us do almost. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that was the whole thing. So for me, it was, yeah, like, you know, when it was like we're here now, we're in the Emirates, like nothing's changing. Like, we're not seeing, like, for me, you know, we've been fed that excuse about the Emirates, about, you know, paying it back and everything like that. I don't know, man. I just felt like something just changed in me. Like, it's not the same club. It's not the same club. I will always love and support Arsenal. You get me? Always. Even now, people say you're negative, Arteta out, all this other stuff. It don't mean that I don't love Arsenal. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that year, I always remember that year. That year is when I just said, psh, do you know what I mean? And then it's like, I can't, like, we're giving money into this thing, and what are we seeing? We're seeing all of our best players leave. We're not seeing any world-class players coming in. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know. It was just like there was a lot. And, you know, Arsene Wenger, with the whole move, there was a lot he was kind of taking on himself. And it was kind of making me feel like he would talk things like always getting injury players. And then when they come back, it's like a new signing. And then he'll be coming out and saying, oh, we're only in for world-class players. And then we're rocking up with like Shamak and Bentner, and do you know what I'm saying? And we're getting all like the squad after a while is like, look at what this is compared to what we were looking at. Do you know what I mean? The one thing I will obviously give Wenger credit for is the kind of philosophy that he tried to keep in the team in terms of how we played. But then after, we just broke the team down where we just didn't have the players to really play like that. Do you know what I mean? They weren't good enough. But yeah, I could just see things changing. And for me, it was like, you're defending the owners, you're defending everything that's going on at the club. Like, you're not kind of, it's like you're not with the fans anymore for me. Do you know what I mean? I felt like it was just more with the club, and you're protecting the club. So for me, it kind of just changed then. I mean, my doubt is that things are getting expensive. We're not rich folk. Do you know what I mean? We're just like, look, man, until we start to believe in a little bit more of what's going on, because we know the history. We know we're, you know, top 3 club in England. We know we haven't always been up there. We know we've had good periods. We know we've had bad periods, but here we're in a good period. This is what we're supposed to be moving here for, to continue that good period, to kick on, you know, and it just weren't happening, and we can kind of see the signs early. So it's just like, yeah, it got expensive, it got long, started watching more games from home. Do you know what I'm saying? It just got worse and worse, to be honest with you. So
yeah, I hear that, bro. I mean, obviously you went off the ledge a bit quicker than me. Obviously, I was a bit more like 2015, 16. I always try to give Wenger the benefit of the doubt with the player thing, and tried to obviously, I wanted him to have like a proper decent team, because I always felt that we didn't have a proper keeper, or we didn't have a proper striker, or we didn't have proper like defenders. It was always like incomplete. So I wanted to see him with a proper team to see what he could do. But like I was saying, obviously on chains and whatnot, like that game against Man United, that 2016 one where we lost to Rashford and the kids and Carrick at centre back when we had our best team, that was it for me. I was like, you know what? I just don't think you've got it anymore, man, to achieve it, bro. That was the final straw, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, but I can understand what you're saying in terms of like going to the Emirates, not having the same vibe, being more expensive. The fact that obviously we're selling our best players to Man City every year, and we're not getting the proper replacements to replace them that are adequate for us to obviously maintain like a title challenge or go on and win like top silverware, especially during that 9-year trophy drought as well. So all those things, you know, you can't really blame. And this is why when obviously I like to ask people where they obviously stop supporting Wenger, because I don't think there's like a right or wrong answer, because again, like you said, people had like a lot of loyalty to him. So some people obviously had longer until they fell off obviously the track, and some people were like pretty soon. So yeah, man, it's always a good obviously conversation to have for sure with other Arsenal fans, man. Big up the chat again. Make sure you guys subscribe to Views on Sport again. Link is in the title. Let's go through some of the comments. Big up Kurt. Arsenal fans trying to laugh at Tottenham for having a parade today. Views, what's your thoughts on this, my friend?
It's dark. I stayed in my house, you know, like I said, I ain't even done shows today. It's been feeling dark, bro. It's been feeling dark, you know what I mean? I've been ratty with the mist. Like, it's been feeling dark, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I'm in London. I'm staying in my house. Phone's on airplane mode. You know, like, it hurts me, bro. Like, after that first leg against PSG, bro, like, for about 4 days after that, I'm just like, it's like I'm in the twilight zone. Like, and then other Arsenal fans are trying to like play it down. Like, this isn't a big thing. This is massive, bro. This is like, oh, it makes me want to throw up, bro. Like, I lined up some Jokeres compilations after that game, because after the watch along, I was saying this game determines who we're gonna get, Sesko or Jokeres, isn't it? Yeah, right. So after Tottenham won it, I said this is the only positive I can take. I could just try watch some Jokeres compilations and just pray for next year. Put my head in the sand like an ostrich, and just because I ain't got a lot of Tottenham friends, but there's a lot of people in the groups. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course,
At the end of the day, I got, you know, Northside. He was almost like he was upset with me because Deji's on. I said, "Look, congratulations, Northside." He's like, "Damn, I'm not congratulating you, bro." And you know what it is, yeah? I said, I can't even be that angry because I'm still in shock. You know, like,
I hear that.
I'm still in shock. I can't believe like I've actually just seen what I've just seen. Like, not only just one of the worst finals ever, but Tottenham actually deserve to win it, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? On the rub of the green. So, like, it's, and here we are, bro. Here we are. Big up George. You get me? Big up big up league judges, all the people that done the 5 versus 1. And George is out there saying we're gonna win a trophy before Arsenal. And guess what, people? Guess what, people? Yeah, on my show, I said we're in the upside down. I don't know if any of you lot have seen Stranger Things, bro.
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah,
Here we are. 2025 is we got a CDM up front. You know what I mean? We got our best CDM playing right back for as many games that could have lost us a title charge. Do you know what I'm saying? It's crazy work, bro. We got a battle of CDMs to play striker and no striker after half a decade. Yeah, it's nasty work, bro. It's the upside down, bro. It's the upside down. That's where we are right now, bro. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I'm just sticking my heads in the ground. Well done, Tottenham, but just drop me out, mate.
I hear it, man. I fully hear it. Again, I'm like you. I'm in shock, fam, because obviously the most I've seen these men win is a League Cup. So when I'm seeing them lift up the European silverware, trophy that Arsenal have never won, I'm like, raw, this is kind of peak. I'll be honest.
One day Ramos settings, bro. That's how
this is it, bro. Woodgate and that. Them man there. That's how old it is, man. So yeah, it's gone from that to this. It's crazy. And I know people are trying to downplay it, but you just got to be honest. For me, it just more highlights Arsenal's deficiencies in terms of not winning major trophies. And this is what you get when you have that mentality of bigger fish to fry. The fish never comes, bro. you're eating off the floor. You're eating crumbs because it never comes. Like, you got to eat the fish while it's there. You get me? So, man, this is what happens, man. So you just allow all the teams to just pick up trophies while you're just trying to get the big ones that you can never get. So for me, I think it's a lesson learned. I mean, if this don't make Arsenal can put themselves into gear, and even with the fans in terms of demanding more, then I don't know what will. Do you know what I mean? You can't just allow Spurs to just collect trophies. They could get another one if they win the Super Cup in August. So yeah, it's dark.
A European Cup
It's
double, bro. A European Cup double, bro. That is something on our head tops, bro.
I
Like,
feel sick.
Yo, stick ain't even the word, bro. Feel like emigrating, bro. You know, just leave
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean?
I hear it, man. You just gotta laugh before you cry, I swear. But yeah, my big up Korean says, congrats to Spurs, they deserve a parade. That's what football's all about. For sure. My big up Carlos, he says, on the day Spurs parade their European Cup, man, them are doing Wenger revisionism. We see things you never see. That's obviously a Chelsea fan sticking a knife in. All cups matter, says Korean. People need to just drill that in. That's why any respect, that's why we respect any kind of silverware. That's 100% true. Silverware creates clubs. It doesn't matter if you play tiki-taka, Mickey Mouse football, soccer football. There is no silverware at the end of it. It doesn't matter. Spurs under Pochettino playing exciting football. He won nothing. That's 100% true, man. And the thing is, Arsenal fans used to banter Pochettino and Spurs for that exact reason. So you can't now have the, you know what I mean? You have to have the same energy when it's the reverse.
The records are similar, bro. Sorry to stop you mid-flow. The records are similar. And why did Kane leave then in the end? Because in the end, I need a trophy. Do you know what I mean? That's it.
Yeah, this is it, man. This is it. And this is why we've got to be careful about, obviously, some of the players that we've got at our club leaving as well. Your Sakas, your Sleevers, your Gabriels, people like that. So, yeah, Rice, this is another one. So, yeah, we need to start winning some trophies, man, for sure, man. Big up Curtis says, do you know a gal was Arteta out back in 2021? Oh, bro, you would not believe it the way he goes on, man. Big up a gal, but brother, some of his views are crazy. Honestly, man. Phase 1,800, a million, or whatever he says, man. It's crazy. I swear he just makes up on the fly. I can't even lie, man. You can't belittle cops at all. No way, no, for sure. I really think a gal is just a raging game beta at this point. There can't be anyone that delusional. Exactly, Korean. Let me enjoy my Conference League. Obviously, Chelsea fan.
Hey,
big up AFC. Always tops and views. Big up yourself, brother. Hope you won, my guy. Tottenham fan when he's up. This is what I'm saying. This is what we're gonna deal with views. Yeah, they're getting cooked by Tottenham fans. This is why I didn't want them to win. Oh my god, when is Arsenal's bus parade is peak? It doesn't have any credibility now, but in a few years, I feel like the Conference League will get its flowers as a competition. Possibly. On Sunday, Tottenham. We beat the City and Real Madrid parade. Man City. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, three-peat, yeah, second 3 times in a row.
Brother, it's crazy, man. Tottenham fans saying, "Don't worry, you'll win the trophy one day." And Tottenham fans saying that to us is
it's the Twilight Zone, bro. It's unbelievable.
Oh man, Carlos says, "Views. I like your mentality, brother." These man keep banging on about the Moldy Gold trophy they had to ask for, blood land it. Obviously on about the invincible thing. So yeah, man, it's peak, man. It's sticky. So obviously back to you, views. Obviously Arsene Wenger leaves in 2018. And then yeah, we get Unai Emery, man. What was your thoughts on Unai Emery? Obviously we were linked with Arteta quite a lot, but we ended up getting with Unai Emery. Sorry. What was your thoughts going into it? Was that an appointment that you were happy with? Did you think that we should have got someone else? What was your feelings on it, brother?
It was always going to be difficult, innit? It's always going to be difficult. I was one of the people that wanted Wenger out, so I weren't going to complain once it happened, but it was always going to be difficult. That goes without saying, Mr. Good evening. I liked him. I did. He had some stuff on his CV. I don't know. I just thought, let's see how he goes. It's a new voice. It's new for everyone. Do you know what I mean? At this point in time, I heard they were talking to Arteta at the same time when they were talking to it. So you're absolutely right, bro. I heard that as well. So, when we landed Unai instead, I'm like, thank God, you know what I'm saying? Why are we going to go and get the cone man? Like, and then obviously only a little while later, we've got the cone man. So, it was just, I don't know. I liked him, man. At the end of the day, we've always been a club that like to give managers time, right? So for me, it's like, well, where was that same energy for him? I know Bruce Rioch, I think he was only here for a year. It was mainly kind of, as Shane says it, Ian Wright that kind of got him out. You know what I mean? Him and Ian Wright, he never got on.
Yeah.
But we've always been a club where you give them time and all the rest of it. So I was a little bit, you know, from early, some of the fans, you know, oh, what's he talking about and what's he saying? And I was like, how can you not? Like, the guy's coming over and learning English. Like, you lot don't know Spanish. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
go
man.
over there now, guarantee you're going to be ordering your stuff in English. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
like, just give it a bit of time. That's what we're kind of known for. But yeah, I don't know. Obviously, it never all just clicked in place for him. But it's a new manager, it's a new country, it's a new language, everything's new. You know what I mean? So I was just like, give him a bit of time. It never happened with him. It never happened. I always felt from early, half the fan base just wasn't on it. Maybe it was the
Yeah.
people that wanted Wenger in. I've heard Curtis, I've heard Dan say that. But I weren't, I was happy with Unai. I'm not gonna lie. I thought to myself, all right, you know, sometimes it's a bit shit, sometimes it's a bit good, but you know, you know what I'm saying? But let him get his feet under the table a little bit, you know, because we've been here half a decade, bro. You know, Arteta's won one FA Cup. Look at the credit it's given him, yeah. And he's gonna give Unai no credit. He's a manager with CV. You know, he done all right for us, in my opinion. So I didn't mind it, and obviously, once they did bin him, I wanted us. I think is that when Ancelotti was available, with my
Yeah,
memory.
yeah. I think he just left
That's what I
Everton,
wanted.
or he still at
Yeah,
Everton.
so I was a little bit but by the time they did it, I kind of felt like he weren't having a good shake. He came out and said they're not giving me no money. I always rated him for
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? Yeah, backbone. Yeah,
Mm.
backbone, guys, cojones. You know, like that. Yeah, he come out. No, because I was always, you know, that was half the problem with Wenger. You always felt that he was back in the club and whatever they were doing, you know, more over telling the fans what's really going on, or being behind the fans and being truthful with the fans. I always felt that towards the end of Wenger. So when Unai came out, that was like a breath of fresh air. Do you know what I'm saying? Ain't no money, la di da, la di da. So I always gave him ratings for that, and I just always felt like, look, you know, if he ain't having a great time, the fans are on his case. It's a bit unfair. They're gonna. I could see the painting on the wall, the writing on the wall, and I always just felt like he never got a fair shake. However, when it did happen, I'm like, look, I'm pretty sure Ancelotti's available. I don't care what's gone on at Everton. Get him
Yeah.
to the carpet. You know what I mean? And then they didn't, and they got Coleman music, bro, and it's just like.
Going man music.
Yeah, bro, I feel like I love with football for a little bit, bro. I was watching
Bro.
boxing at the time. I was doing a YouTube channel. We were doing boxing. You know what I mean? I'll watch match of the day. I'll check out for it, but I just kind of checked out a little bit. You know what I mean? And then obviously, I think it's the season we lost out to Spurs because it was 8th, 5th in the champs. I was like, no, this fucking guy, bro. Sorry to swear. I was like,
Yeah, nah, no worries.
I was like, this guy, bro. Do you get me? Like, I kind of came away from it a little bit, and
Yeah.
then I've come back, and I'm still kind of keeping an eye on it, and I'm like, this guy, bro. And I was like, this guy's got to go. And what is this? Like, we lost to Tottenham, like, what, you know, he's meant to be bringing us back, and then obviously the year after that, now, yeah, I don't know what happened. I mean, I'd like to ask you. I know I'm kind of going a little bit off tangent here, but what happened, bro? 22, was it 22, 23? What happened, bro?
Bro, I don't know, man. I just feel like the board again, and this is why you're gonna go. And I just don't blame Arteta. I blame obviously the board as well. I think it's a joint thing because during that January transfer window, we had a chance to try and solidify our place at the top. We to strengthen the squad. We obviously linked with Casado. We had to do whatever it took to try and get him out of the club, man. Like we had to just pay whatever they wanted to try and get him. And instead, we went for the cheaper option. We went for obviously Jorginho, who I thought was decent, but again, it wasn't a game-changing midfielder at the time that we needed during that period of time where we just needed a few more reinforcements in case Partey got injured, in case Saliba or Gabriel got injured, because you know you have to have the likes of Lokonga stepping in, you had the likes of Rob Holding stepping in. These guys are not good enough in the title running. So for me, we didn't have enough backing in terms of that January transfer window to maintain that start, because again, everyone was shocked that we were on top of the league for that amount of time, for that long, for that amount of points ahead of City as well. Because you got to remember the season before we finished 5th, and we obviously we bought top 4. So to go ahead of a City side that had Haaland and De Bruyne and stuff, you had to strengthen the squad in January when you got a chance. And obviously with the club, there's always a step too far. They never want to go the extra mile. Even this January, I still feel like we still had a chance at winning some piece of silverware if we would have at least got one attacker, and probably needed 2 in January. And there was obviously those options there. Aston Villa obviously bought players. Tottenham got someone on loan. Players were bought in January. Do you know what I mean? Man City spent 200 mil in January, so there was no real excuse about not being able to get any kind of players, because there was players out there to get. Kvaratskhelia went to PSG, so that's another one we could have obviously had a look at. So yeah, man. For me, I just feel like Arteta's inexperience in terms of being able to get a team over the line in a title was definitely a big factor. And the fact that ultimately we kind of rid our lot with injuries. And then during the end, where obviously Tomiyasu and Saliba got injured in that Sporting Lisbon game, which was a terrible game, by the way. We lost it and we got 2 injuries that cost us the title probably. That's when it kind of just derailed, bro. And yeah, we just didn't have the squad to obviously maintain it, man. But yeah, that's the one really out the 3 seasons since we've been quote unquote challenging. That's the one we should have won. Do you know what I mean? We were in the lead for the majority of the season, 93% of the season, and we bottled it. So.
And that's why I asked you. That's why I asked you what happened. Not just the way that we bottled it, but the way that we even got ourselves there. Because it's like I wasn't seeing that football. Then all of a sudden, something just went boom. Yeah, we've leaned on the attack. We were going mad. We was actually scary. I was watching every week. I'm back now. It's Arsenal. I'm like, oh my days. You know what I'm saying? Like, where has this been for so many? And just like what you said, that feeling that you've got, that we can never just complete the jigsaw. Yeah, we're taking away from one end to add to the other end, and it's never. And this is what happened, especially since coming to the Emirates, bro. And this is half the reason why. It's like, why can we never just fix the puzzle? It's always, oh, we got a decent attack, but we need defenders. We got a decent defense, but we need attack. And look, we're still here, 2025. Look at our attack. It stinks, bro. You know what I mean? But we play, yeah, but our defense should say is relatively good. And they ain't even looked that good this year because for all the hard work they do to try and keep a clean sheet, there's no teeth up front, bro. So if there's no goals, it builds the pressure. We're conceding more goals. It's just regression. So yeah, for me, I'll go one step further. You're absolutely right. We should have done what we had to do in that January to take us over the line. But then the year after that, we didn't learn from that. Because the year after that, we was even closer, bro. We might not have been playing, electric football the whole way through, but we was closer. And what did we do last January, bro?
For sure, man.
It's crazy, man. So just quickly before I let you, so we didn't learn from the season before that. Just last season. So as much as people say we should have won in 22-23, and I agree, but I'm like, if anything, we should have won last season. We was 2 points off, and we just had that season before.
Yeah,
to learn from, and we didn't. And then this season, it's like 12 points. Is it now? I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be 15 or whatever. Yeah, I think it's gonna be probably 12, 15 at least, man. But yeah, no, I agree, bro. And that's what you got to question and I feel like again, you got to question whether obviously the Kroenkes actually want to win things, like, because again, this is the guy that you've picked in terms of Arteta. Cool, you backed him a lot with a lot of money, but when it comes to certain areas, you can see if you watch football that we're light in certain areas. You need to put pressure on him if he doesn't want to spend in those kind of areas. So no, look. You need to spend it. You need to get striker. You need to get left winger. You need to revamp our attack because it's just the same old things that we've had for the last 2-3 years. Or you need to make sure if he doesn't achieve these goals, you're going to sack him and get someone else. That's what shows you that you want to win. You're risking someone that you've backed already, but you want to get someone else in because he's not delivering what you thought he's going to do. And I just feel like I don't get that sense with them in it. I feel as long as he gets top 4, top 5, and you know what I mean, we kind of half challenge or something, but we don't win anything. And I think that's what all they care about, the Champions League money, unfortunately, which is why a lot of owners are like that, man. But listen, the proof is in the pudding, man.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. These man, I always say it, and it might not resonate. But if you go and watch any, you go and watch The Wire, go and watch Goodfellas. Yeah, these guys are the plug. Yeah, that's all it is. They're not even here. We saw Marinakis on the field tearing into Nuno. Like everyone was cussing him for that, but I actually like that. I'm like, where's my owners? They're not even here. Do you know what I mean? And unfortunately, the Premier League is like a lick. It's like it's big money. Yeah. Right. But the difference between the American owners, right? Not all of them. Yeah. But mostly the American owners and then the other owners, like the Saudis or the Greeks or whoever else is coming in, when they buy something, I'm talking about the Saudis and that now, it's theirs. Yeah. And if it's theirs, if it belongs to them, then it's got to bang. It's got to do something. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, why have I bought it?
Yeah.
But with the new age American guys that are coming in, even and I'm saying FSG, but look at what they're doing now. So I can't even. It's mad. Yeah. But anyway, right? Like these guys, all they care about is the money straight, as you said. Top 4. Yeah. You get me? We sold money. Yeah. We sold a lot of merchandise. Yeah. Good job. Put the phone down. These men are, throwing the American football. They're over in the States. They're doing their thing. It's like, so you're absolutely right. And in the nearly 20 years that they've been here, they've probably taken out more money than they've put in. That's not a Roman move. That's not a Mansour move or a Marinakis move. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even Chelsea have spent big money. Like what even the money that Arteta spent, a lot of people seem to fail to realize, right? It's not Kroenke's money, it's Arsenal's money.
Mm,
However, they have allowed him to spend it. So look, let me just try and get to the point. On the whole, these lot own the whole thing, so they have to be ultimately responsible for everything going on at the club. If you and me can see that we're stinking, yeah, we're playing rubbish, because I've not been entertained this season. I don't know about you, my guy.
nah,
I've not
nah.
been entertained. If me and you can see that, how do these guys not? Do you know what I'm
Mm,
saying? How do these guys not? So ultimately, it's your responsibility. However, this season particular, let me caveat and say, right? They've let him half a decade, 750 million. Even the start of this summer, they probably said to him, here, what, mate? You spent a little bit. We could probably free up 80 to 100 million. Use it wisely. And you go out and buy Calafiori and Moreno when we need a striker, bro. Do you know what I
mm.
mean? Yeah. Even this season. So maybe that's why Berta was brought in. Maybe that's why we never saw nothing in January, because they're like, look, bro, we're coming on to 1 billion and we're still seeing holes all over the pitch. You know what I mean? So, you know, so ultimately, like I said, to try and get to my point, it is their fault. And I do, as owners, I want them to care more for their project. But this season, bro, this season, why we haven't won anything is nothing to do with them, in my opinion.
Mm.
It's all on Arteta.
Yeah, you know what? I can't really disagree with that, especially when you look at the likes of getting knocked out by a dusty Man United team in the FA Cup with 10 men at home. Losing on penalties was atrocious. Then you look, obviously, getting battered by Newcastle in the League Cup. These are two trophies we easily could have won for sure, man. So when you look at those trophies in particular, then, bro, there's no excuses why we couldn't have picked up a piece of silver or even get to a final, bro. Do you know what I mean? And see what happens from there. So, yeah, I think it's definitely more on Arteta in terms of how he's used the resources and stuff like that, man. But, yeah, it's just a weird one because, again, you kind of know with Arteta that he's got a bozo moment in him. Do you know what I mean? You know he's gonna play Partey at right back, or he's gonna try and put Marino back in midfield, or Havertz back in midfield, and you just get frustrated with it. You know what I mean? So that's
One
kind of
position.
yeah.
And
This
the
is it.
whole thing gets just reshuffled, bro. It's
Yeah,
crazy to me. I just don't see it. Like
yeah.
everyone's like, he's got no plan B. I'm looking at it. I'm like, can you define the plan A? Because I'm still baffled, bro. I don't know what this is that we're trying to do. Horseshoe, candy dance. Do you know what I mean? We're going side to side.
Mm.
We're crossing the ball, and there's no one in there. 2025 Champions League semi-final. We're doing long throws.
Yeah,
So
that's so City,
Thomas
man.
Muller, like, bro, I just don't see it, bro. That's it.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy, man. But yeah, big up the chat, man. Make sure you guys subscribe to Views on Sport. Link is in the title, man. We'll get into a couple of these comments. We all knew Arsenal weren't doing anything in the Champions League after their stinky home atmosphere in the semi-final, man. Banda FC, obviously Chelsea fan there, Carlos. Tottenham winning a trophy feels like AI. Nah, legit. I'm not even taking it in, bro. Like, seriously,
It's
even seeing Andrew with the trophy and seeing them in the Super Cup in August, it's gonna be
it's
mad.
not
I'll be
real,
real,
bro.
bro. It's a nightmare I want to get out of. I can't even lie. But yeah, man. Spurs fans singing Champions of Europe. We know what we are at the Emirates. Don't let B Walsh hear that. Hashtag Bozo. Yeah, it's long days. And this is the thing, like, when we play them now, you know what they're gonna chant, bro. Champions of Europe, you'll never sing that. Champions of Europe, we know where we are, etc.
Yeah,
etc. It's
yeah.
gonna, oh man, it's painful, bro. It's actually really painful, man.
Twilight Zone.
Yeah, legit. I'm here, Carlos. You know, you better win that trophy on Wednesday, otherwise you're getting caught. Obviously, on about Chelsea,
Yeah,
Rob
yeah, yeah.
Baptiste. That should be a good one, man. But yeah, back to you, obviously, views, bro. So obviously, with Arteta coming into obviously being Arsenal manager, is there anything that he's actually done that you've been obviously impressed with, or was there a period where you obviously thought he was going to do well or better than he has done, or was it just a straight thing when we got him? You were like, no, this is not the guy. I don't believe in him at all. Like there's nothing he can do to change my mind. What was your feelings, bro?
Yeah, no, obviously I didn't want him. You're an absolute novice, to be honest, but we did
Mm.
it, so just like, all right, let's see. And especially I think in the early years, getting Oba to re-sign the contract, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean, just I feel like he's a very good politician, like, you know what I'm saying, like now when I'm looking at him. But in the early years we didn't know that. So you're doing and you're saying all the right things, and I'm like, all right, okay. The fans are not complaining about his language, even though even now in 2025 sometimes you speak, bro, and I'm like, what, like like what have you actually said there? Do you know what I'm saying? But I don't know, like he was doing and saying the right things. 22, 23 definitely spun me around, because I'm like, right, finally now we can see, you know what I mean? You can see what hopefully he's trying to turn us into. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, all right, cool. we're expecting top 4 after the season before that. We're exceeding expectations. Like I said, he's doing and saying the right things. I was like, cool, you are a novice. When I first started my channel, I was saying, look, like, if you went onto a building site with no, you know what I'm saying? No experience whatsoever, no tickets, no nothing. Then all of a sudden you can do this, you can do that, you can hang with the guys that have been there. Then you've got to give that some sort of credit. And that was the first, that was the first kind of good thing I was saying about him. And I'm like, look, we need to do better, but you're doing and saying the right thing. So, I didn't like the whole get Aubameyang out and all that kind of stuff. However, I'm like, right, we got to back what you're doing. We'll see. That's all we can do at this point. That's all we can do. And like I said, then we got into that 22-23 season. You start to feel like, yeah, that team only needs a few tweaks. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then we go into the 23-24 season and you're thinking, this is it. Do you know what I mean? I'm fully behind him. Even at the start of that season, I'm like, he's still an amateur. Look what he's doing. As much as I didn't want him at the beginning, let's see what he can do. The floor's yours now, basically. Yeah, we're not going to talk too much, but the floor's yours. So those 2 years, especially, you're saying the right things. Yeah, we have the whole season. I know we didn't do too much in January. We didn't learn from our mistake the year before. I think you even dropped it. I swear you dropped Party into right back when we lost against Villa. I'm sure. There was a few things I'm saying. But there was too much going on. We was winning games on the bounce. Like there was too. So I'm like, look, these are the usual culprits. We need to fucking, you know what I mean? We need to get better at beating these guys. Yeah, this is the manager. We saw what he done last season. Let's see. And then we got there, bro. Flopped it again. I was pissed off at the end of last season, majorly. I'm just like, oh man, like, is this ever going to change? But it weren't so much with Arteta. It was more just like the club and the culture. We cursed, because my PTSD runs deep. Do you know what I mean? For a long, long time. So that kind of stuff. And then, like I said, then we got like I don't know about you, bro, but at the end of last season, when he was on the pitch talking about second ain't good enough, and it's let it hurt, use the pain to fuel you, and I was behind him. I'm like, all right, cool. I was behind him. I'm
He's
like,
a good talker. Cool. I'll be real. He's a good talker,
bro. And dopamine's it's a real thing, bro. It hits. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was like, all right, cool. I saw the Premier League at the Emirates. I'm like, raw. I'm like, raw. Yeah, bro. I saw it there, and I'm like, and it's for all of my negativity, I'm like, wow, like the league tight, the cup is right there at our stadium, like we're this close, sort of thing, And then, and I was never back in Tottenham for that either. Let me just say that. Never, ever. But yeah, man. So after it happened, we lost. I'm sitting there like, that feeling again. Why can't we win? We're cursed. Then he come out, he had his little speech. I'm like, all right, cool. Maybe this summer now, this is it. Michael Jackson settings. This is it. Third time lucky. You know what I mean? I saw him on the pitch. I was drawn into what he said. And then we had the summer like we had, bro. We're going on tour. We ain't got no one new yet. Do you know what I'm saying? We're spending the whole summer to get squad players, bro. Then I'm hearing about the wrong Neto, bro. I'm seeing Neto go to Chelsea. We're rocking. I'm saying, hold on. Like I said Neto, but I think you made a mistake. Like, here's the receipt. You know what I'm saying? Can you go and get me the right guy, bro?
That's it.
Bro, like, what is going on? And then we end up with Meg the Sterling, bro. Like,
Meg the Sterling.
After that summer, I'm like, bro, we're not gonna win again. I said it right from the off. And then I saw us play Wolves August 17th, where I said, bro, we ain't winning shit. You know what I'm saying? We're just going backwards. And like I said, I was onto him. So you keep changing the formation. Like I said, last season, we're still in this season. Last season, I was looking at it like, we're playing a bit dead. At the start of the season, still wasn't as bad as how we've been playing this season, but a bit dead. And everyone kept crediting him, saying, no, this is all the plan. We're starting slow. But I was onto him, kind of thing. I'm like, I don't know if you are. Maybe we're giving you a bit too much credit. And then this season, bro, it's just all exploded, bro. The game management, the lack of any chess. This guy is so pragmatic. It's unreal, bro. It's just defense first. And you got to remember, this is a system, that he's put in place, which is high octane, high energy. But it's also a squad that you've made the smallest in the league by design. Do you know what I'm saying? By design, I only want a small squad. Why? If you want to play a high octane system where players are running back more than they're running forward. So the more it goes on, it's like you keep changing what we've got. All you had to do is tweak 22, 23, not completely knock it down. And that's basically what's been happening ever since then. It got a bit worse last season. And then this season, have we won more than 3 games in a row
I
in the
don't.
league?
Right. If we have, it's only been one time because I can't remember, to be honest with you. It's normally win, win, draw, win, win, lose, win, draw, draw. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, listen, I got to echo what you're saying, man. When that window came about, and for me, that window there was a disgrace, if we're being honest. After that, like you said, it being so close last season, literally the trophies in there, the stand of the trophy saying Premier League champion 2024 is literally in the stadium for the first time since we moved there. One game away, one victory and a Man City slip-up, we would have won it. And yeah, you produce that kind of summer window is atrocious. And this is why I go back to, obviously, like I said about the board, in terms of, do they actually want to win? If you come that close, then why would you not want to strengthen in certain areas and give the guys everything they need to get? Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, bro, what's the point? What's the point of obviously being a part of a club or in charge of a club where you're not doing your utmost best to make sure the team gets over the line, whether it's sacking the manager or giving the manager that you trust all the tools he needs to get over the line? So, yeah, man, it was a disgrace, really. And then, yeah, going into this season, like I said, this has definitely been probably the worst out of the 3. I mean, probably this has been the worst out of the 3, even though we've not won trophies in all 3 of them. In terms of the football, man, the draws, the games where even where we've won, like I said, like that, the Newcastle game, the Fulham game at home, Ipswich, we've won these by 1 odd goal, but the football's been a real chore to watch, man. It's been painful at times, if we're being honest, just relying on corner set pieces and that. So, yeah, that's definitely something you got to have a look at, man. You got to have a look at and say, you know what, this is not good enough. This has to be better. Do you know what I mean? In terms of how the players are performing, how the manager's setting us up, and how the board is obviously giving him the plays or not giving him the plays to improve the starting lineup and improve the football that we're playing, bro. So, yeah, I agree, man. Again, and this is what brings me swiftly into, obviously, like you were saying about the summer. Like, what do you want to happen? What do you want to happen in the summer? Who do you want the club to sign? Because I think it's crucial that we strengthen that attacking area 100%, bro. Because again, if we can't go another season, we can't have it up front, in my opinion, for sure. But let me know what you think of it,
bro. To be honest, I've kind of lost confidence already, bro. Because I was saying, the moment that anything can be done, do it. So there is such thing as pre-season. Big up Shane. There is such thing as pre-contract agreements and all that kind of stuff. You can sign players, do you know what I'm saying? Especially if they got release clauses and things like that. You can get it done. Yeah, you can get that contract. You could, even if they're coming in the summer, if you're going to announce what you did, like with Zubimendi, you're announcing verbal agreements. Like, announce something concrete, show something. I don't know, a signature, something, bro. So I'm losing confidence, bro. We're seeing Liverpool, they've just won a league. They've got American owners like us. They done fuck all over last season, excuse my French, in terms of transfers, and they've just won a league, and they're doing what we should be. You're strengthening from a point of strength, from a place of strength. Do you know what I mean? So I was saying, I was calling him Montgomery Burr, release the hounds, right? But I don't know now, bro. I'm starting to question it, bro, because you could already be doing like things. I expected us to be first off the mark after the season we've had. I didn't want to hear about nobody else getting a signing before us. Not about no Frimpong, not about no Cunha, not about nothing, bro. Us. Like the moment anything can get done, send the Morse code, message in the bottle, smoke signals. Like, we should have been on it like Sonic this year. Yeah. Like after that shit show that they've just served up to us, and especially after the fact that they've raised season ticket prices as well. I think it's been the worst year for merchandise drops. So you're milking us, bro. You're milking us. Arsenal, Tottenham, and Fulham, I think, is the most highest tickets in Europe. Tottenham can now maybe justify that now that they've just won something, but before that they couldn't. Do you know what I mean? Arsenal definitely can't justify it. 1 FA Cup in 5 years. Like, Fulham definitely can't justify. So, at the end of the day, I'm already like, because we had Gyökeres friend zoning us, bro. Like, it depended on that game to see whether we was gonna get him. We should have had that done. If from what I'm hearing, right, Gyökeres is saying, oh, he respects Sporting, he wants to give them to the end of the season, wants to play in the cup and then leave respectively in the summer. Cool, but why haven't you got his signature? Why isn't it a guarantee that he's coming to Arsenal?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Already, this is what I don't like. You're friend zoning us. So yeah, we need a Gyökeres, we need a left winger. I think we need someone to challenge Odegaard because him and Saka are the most comfortable footballers in the world, and I don't like that. It's not good for them. It's not good for us as a club. So, you know, people that saying, oh, we only need 2 players, 3 players. No, in my opinion, we need like 5 or 6, maybe even more. But I don't think the club's going to do it. So if we are going to try and, you know, box smart, then the first thing I would have done is try to renew Tierney, but that's not gonna. Sorry, Kieran Tierney. That's not gonna happen with where he's going. But I would have still tried wrap up Thomas Partey because Zubimendi, bro. I'm still unsure on Zubimendi. I don't know if he's gonna handle the physicality and pace of the league. You know, he doesn't have Thomas Partey qualities. So if he's here to replace Jorginho, fair enough. But if he's here to replace Thomas, that's not a good move. So you know, even left back, bro, even left back. Our best left back is leaving. We've got a midfielder that's kind of filling in at left back. We've got Calafiori, who I don't know about you, but he's not a left back in my opinion. Maybe he's a centre back, left centre back, centre back 3, you know, but not. So for me, there's loads of stuff. But you know, if we're going to be tight, which I think it already looks like we are going to be, then we need like a left winger, we need a striker, we need an attacking midfielder because I think he'll probably try and use Ethan as Saka backup. But they're the 3 places that you've got to go and trouble like ASAP. I'm surprised that we haven't announced anything yet, if I'm being totally honest. You know what I mean? It kind of, I don't know about you, but it fills me with a little bit of nervousness, bro. Do you know what I mean? I got to be honest.
No, I agree, man. I feel like you said, like in terms of the attacking lineup and the attacking players, we need to make sure we get those over the line as soon as possible, bro. I don't want to see like we did last year where we're going into preseason, July, August, and we're umming and ahhing, and we end up with like a Sterling on loan kind of deal. We need to, for me, because listen, I've seen the reports as well about Gyökeres and the cup final. I say, cool. Well, whenever a team's obviously still involved in competition, obviously it's going to be a bit more difficult until they finish their season. But after this Sunday, after this weekend, there's no excuses, man. Like that's it. It's a free for all, and we already know that the obviously the transfer window is going to be open earlier. Sorry, because obviously the Club World Cup teams want to obviously strengthen for that competition. So, bro, we need to be on the ball as soon as possible. For me, the Zubimendi thing, I'm old school. I'm not going to believe anything until I see the guy hold up the shirt. I've seen people like John Obi Mikel linked with Man United go to Chelsea. The likes of Willian doing the same thing as well. Supposed to go to Spurs, ends up at Chelsea. Bro, until they sign the thing and hold up a shirt, bro, it's all transfer talk. It's all rumors. You're not going to see it until you actually believe it. That's just my opinion in it. So I'm not even going to count that as a signing yet because, again, he's not signed a thing. We've already seen him change his mind with the Liverpool deal as well. So you can't really trust what these kind of journalists say because, again, one tweet and him saying he wants to go to somewhere else now, and then it's all up in smoke. Do you know what I mean? So, for me, bro, I want to see some concrete links, this week coming. Obviously, the season's going to be done. Last Premier League season, I think the Portuguese final, like you said, with the Gyökeres, is I think this Sunday as well. So that'll be over and done with. And we need to start making some bids, some inquiries, some actual concrete evidence of us trying to strengthen that position. The links with Rodrigo as well. Well, what's your thoughts on that, bro? Do you think that's concrete? Do you think that's a 5 thing?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure because I think it's, you know, I saw something yesterday where he's like, I'm basically not going as long as Xavi Alonso said there's a place for me here, I'm staying. Like, so I'm kind of a little bit disappointed on that. If that is the type of player that we can go and get, then we got to be all over it. But like I said, you know, there's things that you can do, bro. I mean, look, you're absolutely right. And big up Mr. Robbo. He comes in my chat and he said that they've got games to play. But we all knew that Sesko's leaving this summer. We all knew that Xavi Simons is leaving this summer. They're both at Leipzig. We know that they're leaving. They know that they're leaving. So in terms of just opening talks, but not even just that, because maybe it might be me being a little bit petty or a little bit eager. But then in terms of contract renewals, that's something that Berta could have been handling from the very first hour that he was in the club. Do you know what I mean? There ain't no time on that. You just get to it. Maybe the players, and it's another question to you. Maybe the players are like, well, hold on, let's see what happens in this summer. Because already I'm seeing Frimpong and I'm seeing Wirtz at Liverpool. Already, we ain't finished the season yet, bro. So if they can do it, at least, as you said, concrete link. Give me something concrete. Give me, at least you can do something. Do you know what I mean? Like, all right, if we're waiting for Gyökeres pivot, who else are we gonna get? Oh, you wanted Eze. Oh, you wanted Cunha. Because now Cunha, Man United's got more pull than Arsenal now in 2024. They would have if they won that Europa League, which is mad to me, bro. Mad to me. So, yeah, man. I don't know. I'm just a little bit nervous. I mean, hopefully after those things, as you said, there is no more excuses. But I'm talking in the, like tomorrow, the day after that. Like I want to start seeing some shit now because this ain't filling me with joy. And I understand. Last thing I'll say quickly is I understand that when people say, "Oh, but we got Havertz on the books and we got Jesus on the books and it's over 500,000 in wages and no one's gonna buy that." I hear all of that, but that's your fault. Do you know what I mean? That's further indication that you've messed this up here, guys. Yeah, like there's a hole in the bucket. Who was doing those business deals? Do you know what I mean? Because you've really messed up, really messed up. And now I'm at the stage where we're just gonna have to cut off the hand to save the arm. Like Tommy Yasu rip the contract up, Reece Nelson rip it up, Gabriel Jesus go back to Brazil, Havertz back to Leverkusen or something. I don't know, bro. Like I'm at that stage where we need to stop the rot. But I don't think it will happen straight away. I think it will be like a couple of seasons and we'll let certain people go. And so, because I mean, what do you think about Trossard renewing, bro?
Yeah, I mean, big up Shane. He's the one that broke the news to me about apparently he's only just obviously upping his wages and not actually extending the length of the contract, which I find very bizarre. Like, for me, like if you're gonna extend it, then you either want to protect his value and still want to sell him, or you want to keep him as a squad player. And the fact that we've done neither and just gave him more money would suggest that he's staying, but we don't want him to stay long term. But then why would you then not try and extend his contract? Why would you just not just sell him this summer then? Why give him a extra? It's just a bit of a weird one. Like
who's doing business at our club? Like Ronald McDonald, bro. Like
Ronald McDonald. Honestly, man. Crazy, bro. It doesn't really make much sense, to be honest with you. So for me, I would probably sell him out of the two, out of him and Martinelli. Keep Martinelli as a backup, but again, he's on a big amount of wages. But like you said, that's their own fault. But keep him as a backup on the left and then get a proper left-sided star player. Rodrigo is the type of player that we should be looking at, not on Nico Williams. Like you look at the both players in terms of what they've done, similar kind of ages, but what they've actually done for obviously their teams. Real Madrid being a massive team compared to obviously Bilbao, and Rodrigo's been one of the stars for sure, especially them winning Champions Leagues and leagues as well. That's the kind of level you need to try and get to put into your front line to try and go on and get major honors, man. So that's the kind of players I want to see us being linked with for sure, and hopefully we can get it over the line. And with Bert obviously having a history of getting those top signings over the line with big amount of money, because that's going to probably cost 80 million or not or whatnot. Because he's got a history of doing that, that's what makes me a little bit more optimistic that we could probably achieve some of these top signings in terms of having a decent sporting director that knows what he's doing and has got a history of getting these things over the line. But like you said, we've just got to wait and see, man. But to go back to your question about the Trossard thing, yeah, strange, man, strange. It's going to be interesting to see what we do with him and Martinelli, because there's reports, I don't know if you've seen it, about us willing to take 50 mil for Martinelli. Is that something you'd be interested in doing, selling Martinelli and trying to get someone like a Rodrigo or someone?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll bite your hand off for it. I think both of them guys are not good enough. Trossard's obviously 30, 30 plus by next season. He's 50-50, like the Lamar song, in my opinion, because it's, he's just not consistent enough. If we had to keep one of them, then I would rather keep Martinelli, because as much as he's a head down and is kind of regressed under Arteta, I feel like he's younger. There's more of a player there, and I feel like in terms of his pace, he can stretch the game in the last 20 minutes, half an hour, that kind of thing. Yeah, and like I said, Ronald McDonald with the business, bro. How does that make any sense to give him more money, but he doesn't extend his contract? That literally makes no sense to me. Like literally none. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know what, Bert is meant to be here to stop things like that. So I just hope that isn't true. But if we could get 50 million for Martinelli, I'd bite your hand off. I'd definitely be in for someone like Rodrigo. I'd pay the 80 million and I'd give him 250 a week, right? Not a problem, because everyone's like, oh, but Williams is 51 million. Yeah, but he's 400k a week, and you're not getting half the player for that. Like, I don't know if people's watched him. I don't watch him every week, but I watched him a few times in the Europa League, and it was 50-50. One game I'm looking at you like, you're better than Martinelli. You're going past players. You're better than Trossard. Then I'm watching you another game, and it's like, oh my days, 400k a week for this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so for me, I wouldn't. I'd rather spend more on a transfer fee to Real Madrid, who will probably need the money, let's be honest, and probably pay a lesser wage, like a 250 or even a 300k to a Rodrigo. However, if he does stay at Real Madrid, who do we pivot to? I mean, who would be your next in line? Like I said, it wouldn't be Nico Williams. For me, maybe a Semenyo, maybe a Eze, because he can play multiple positions.
Yeah, Lookman is another one that I'd probably be interested in.
I haven't watched him that much, though. Have you?
Not too much, to be honest. Only that Europa League run they had last year, to be honest with you. But I know obviously he was doing good things in Serie A. To be honest with you, bro, there's not a plethora of left wingers where you look at and you think, wow, this is a type of left winger I want to spend 60, 70 mil on. So it is a difficult one, but we definitely need to strengthen in that area. Like we need to get someone in. Like Semenyo, again, would obviously be someone a bit different. Someone that can obviously play there as well. But yeah, I just want to see, for me, like I just want to see those obviously positions occupied. I don't want to go another season where we get that kind of briefing from either the Athletic or Fabrizio Romano saying, "Oh, Arsenal, we're in the market, but Arteta wasn't happy with buy options, so we're gonna go with what we've got." Do you know what I mean? I don't want to hear that again, bro. I don't want to hear that again.
Before this is what I'm trying to say. This is where the PTSD comes from, because we're literally living in the Truman Groundhog Day. It's literally like the same things. Do you know what I mean? And this is what Bert's meant to like, bro. Delicious January, bro. Kvaratskhelia. Like, bro, they're saying 65, like not pounds, euros, bro. 65 million euros. Marmoush was like 56 million pounds. Why didn't we go and get them both last year? But you know why? Because our club's too busy, like just lapping it up. You know, like you made one hit song and you're not making another hit song. You're just trying to load it up off your one hit. It's getting dry now. That's what we do all the time. Why on earth did we not get Kvaratskhelia last season? For it probably would have been like 59 Great British pound. Now we're gonna have to pay 80 million Great British for Rodrigo if we're serious.
Yeah, if we're serious.
We always do this, and this is something else I'm sick of as well. So I just want my club to act its wage, please, because you're charging big money. Can you just act the wage, please?
And and that's obviously where the famous quote comes from, you know, lemonade football for champagne prices. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you're not delivering on what you should be obviously offering with the money you're paying. Do you know what I mean? Like it should be better than what we're getting, bro. Like I've seen a couple of man that obviously are season ticket holders for Arsenal. They're saying their thing's going on over 10%, bro. And they're like, why? We didn't win anything. Like, why is it going up more money? Like, what am I getting in return?
Yeah, 1,500 to like 1,650, bro. Like for what? For the win the dog plushie, bro. For I don't know, bro. For what? Honestly, it's. But we're so close. We're so close, guys. We're so close.
100%, man. It's crazy, bro. But yeah, man. We just have to make sure that the club and also the fans are obviously one responsibility is to try and put pressure on them to make sure they do what they need to do and what's required. Don't accept the countless PRs of new merch every minute, and you know what I mean, we're in this together and process and phases. Call it out how you see it. Make sure that you're not happy with what you're getting, and make sure the club delivers, man, because that's the only thing you can do as a fan is just try and put pressure on them and just show your distaste. Because these guys, they check the Twitter analytics, they check what's trending, they check they read the room, they know if fans' morale is low or high. That's why you see all of these kind of engagements of clickbait kind of stories being dropped when we've just lost the game, because they want the fans to be back on side, so we're linked with this player or that player. So they know what's going on, man. So if you show your displeasure and obviously what's happening and the players that you're getting, then obviously it might actually kick the club into gear and make sure they do what they need to do to get these signings over the line, man. But yeah, man, big up Views as always, man. I will probably conclude this episode of Center Stage. Big up my guy Views. Before you go, tell the people where they can find you, what you've got coming on your channel in the future, my friend.
Yes, sir, man. Yeah, man, great show. Thank you for having me on, man. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing to Tops to get me doing big things. Make sure you're showing love, but you can find me over on Views on Sport. If you can see it in the back there. Should be back probably tomorrow with an intervention, so you can come on, have your say. We talk anything that you want to talk about. Subscribers show. Gonna be doing a couple of weekly shows coming up. Clean Through 1-on-1 with Shane Guna. With that's in the works. Another show with Aaron Talks Arsenal as well. Shane Guna, possibly Carl Walsh-Gunner. So a few shows coming up in the works. Champions League final. Me and Shane are doing a watch along for that. And yeah, plenty of Under the Lenses as well. So we're going to have guests over on the channel as well. Obviously, you were part of that, so thank you for that. And yeah, just watch out for the content, man. It will be coming.
Big Up Views on Sport. Make sure you guys go over there right now. Subscribe to him, support the brother. Doing big things. You just heard it there first. Under the Lenses. Fantastic series. Gotta check that out. Watch the last one, Geordie Dread. Fantastic episode as well. Big yourself up, big him up as well. But yeah, man, it's been a pleasure to have you on. Debut show, man. I hope we can get you on again for sure. But yeah, it's been a great episode, man. I'm gonna redirect to DJB. So make sure you guys go over to DJB, say Tops Raid, T Chanzo Sports Raid, and let him know where you're coming from, man. But until next time, like I always say, don't hate the player, hate the game. And yeah, till next time, people, we are out. Peace and love.